Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I am casting a game from the Razor replay pack of the week, and it is between LiquidTLO, the star of this replay pack, who is the red Zerg player in the lower right position, and in the top left position we have VortiX, who is of course the blue Zerg. That means this is a ZvZ, and that is exciting times for us because we're going to see lots of micro battles, we're going to see lots of teching, drone scouting, etc. And generally, it's just a pretty stressful matchup to play because your opponent can go from suddenly having no units to having an awful lot very, very quickly, thanks to those lovely mechanics that are lava. Anyway, what are we going to be expecting? Well, TLO, he does some pretty funky stuff on ladder. I mean, I've been casting quite a bit of his replay pack, and he does some cool builds. The coolest of which is he likes his Nidus networks, which I think is absolutely baller. It is possibly the coolest thing going. And, well, maybe we'll see some of that. VortiX, though. VortiX is an absolute boss. He is an amazing Zerg player. So I'm thinking the TLO could have to work pretty damn hard if he wants to win this game. Both these players will indeed. They are in cross-spawn positions, and it's not forced. That's why they're both scouting the same way at first. But, of course, these two overlords will bump into each other and then be like, I can now deduce that you are in the cross-spawn position, kind sir. That's assuming they do bump into each other. They may just completely avoid each other, which would be hilarious. No, are they gonna? Are they? Are they? Aren't they? Are they? Aren't they? Yep, there we go. So they do see each other, and now they're just like, I know where you are. Anyway, looking down here, both players looking to go for the 15 hatch, which is a perfectly normal opening. Of course, anything from a 6 pull right the way up to like a 15 hatch is a plausible opening. It just depends on how you want to play ZvZ, and the fact they've both gone for hatch first means they're pretty safe. Normal follow-up to this will be a 16 pull, or if they're feeling a bit unsafe, maybe a 15 pull, or if you're feeling incredibly safe, you can sometimes even see a gas first into the pool, which is good in the mid game, unless of course your opponent's gone for an early pull timing, and because they haven't scouted each other first, they're not going to really know what each other's doing. So that's why we've seen these slightly earlier pulls. The gas coming down at very similar times for both players. TLO just slightly sooner on both the pull and the gas, but that means he should have one less drone, which is true, which is only tiny, but obviously one less drone does make a fraction of a difference to the income. So obviously that's something you do need to start thinking about. Is in ZvZ every drone counts, and one of the big things lots of people ask me, how do you scout ZvZ? How do you know what your opponent's doing? How do you know when they're just going to flood with units? And the simple answer is you need to know about these things. Drones. You need to look at how many drones they've got. You really need to know at what time in the game should they have that many drones. And if you suddenly see that they're a bit short on drones compared to you, that means they're making units and you're about to die. In which case you make units to not die. And it really is that simple. And the thing that you've always got to really think about is the defender's advantage in ZvZ is huge because of the ability to suddenly flood quite a lot of units. So definitely not a problem. That's really where you see people pulling ahead in ZvZ, is if they do effectively scout a push coming, they get another couple of drones and then start unit production. And those extra couple of drones make a difference over 5-10 minutes, the amount of money you've got, and eventually, usually in sort of the Roach Infester phase of the game, you have a lot more stuff. So I mentioned phase of the game there. For anyone who doesn't know, ZvZ is kind of split up into multiple phases. Phase 1 is just whoever has the most Zerglings wins. Then that transitions into Banelings getting out usually, which means that whoever has the better Zergling Baneling control wins, because 2 Banelings kill Banelings, so they should always go in pairs, and Banelings one-shot Zerglings, so the other thing you need to think about. After the Zergling Baneling phase, you get Roaches out, and of course Roaches are very strong against Banelings, and also when Roaches get into larger numbers, they have a lower surface area, so therefore Zerglings are less effective against them. So then it's about who has the most roaches. Then obviously you transition into sort of the more lair tech, where you have roach speed out obviously is a big thing, and also you start looking at infestors and hydralisks. Infestors, obviously their fun growth strong against roaches. Hydras in small numbers as well really add a lot of power to the force, which is something that quite a few Zerg players forget about. Just a handful of hydralisks, even just like 8-10 of them in the army, makes a big difference to the engagement in your favour, as long as you have them behind the roach wall. Anyway, Baneling coming down for both players, Spinecrawlers coming down for both players, speed about to finish up for both players, and lair has just been started for VortiX, so there's a lot of an earlier lair timing. He's getting his second gas as well. Meanwhile, TLO just on 1 gas, and the fact that VortiX is now taking his 3rd and 4th gas as well, this is really gearing up to potentially be a 2-base muta play, which wouldn't be too bad. There's dead space around this map quite nicely you can really try and be aggressive on. VortiX is being quite aggressive with the Zerglings as well, maintaining the map control, which is important if you were going for that sort of strategy. Alternatively, VortiX could just be going for quick Infestors. Infestors very, very strong. There's multiple things you can do with this style of build, but for the moment, these Zerglings are going to get cleaned up unless they run away very, very quickly, and we're still in the phase where the most Zerglings win. TLO going to go and take his third base. That's quite an early third base timing, not super early, but the thing really missing here is VortiX doesn't have an Overlord in the third base position, and he really needs to see that it has gone down for those Zerglings. He managed to get up there, perfect timing. And for the moment, TLO just happy to leave them running around because he doesn't really want them to escape. He wants to try and pin them back. A couple of Banelings morphing, and that could give VortiX the position to get those Zerglings out in time. He does, which is really nice. 2 more Banelings coming in as well. And of course, TLO now going to have to be careful. 2 Banelings do kill 3 Banelings if they do all connect, but it has to be timed very, very nicely. It's going to be pretty close, and VortiX does manage to get 2 Banelings, one with just 1 health. It does get picked off by 2 more Zerglings of VortiX, and this is really intensive part of the match. And for the moment, VortiX does have the greater number of Zerglings, and behind this, he's just started up his Spire. The Roach-1 about to finish off for TLO. That's really the only threat you get from Mutas, is that if your opponent gets lots and lots of Roaches out, they just come and kill you, which is why if you do go to base Muta, build Spine Crawlers. Lots and lots and lots and lots of Spine Crawlers, because you'll probably have an excess of minerals. But here we go, that base does get cancelled. That is a massive win right there for VortiX. TLO is going to have some problems, and well, for the moment we do see a lot of these Zerglings running back, and TLO with an awful lot of Zerglings in position play right now, and VortiX getting up his third base, so we could see that countered. The Banelings already morphing in, that's good, and of course both these players staying in the Zergling Baneling phase of this game for an awful long time. TLO running up there. Of course, the Banelings are nearly done, and that is really the threat to TLO at the moment. But of course, these Zerglings are trying to sneak in, but VortiX with a mass amount of his own Zerglings is going to clean himself very, very easily. The Spire has not been scouted as far as I'm aware. Oh no, it has. It can just be seen. So TLO knows exactly what's happening. That's absolutely ace for him. And basically that means that he should now be absolutely fine dealing with this. He knows Mutas are on the way. Obviously, this Overseer is getting good scouting information. What we really need to see from TLO is basically either quite a few Infestors down, ready to deal with those Mutas, because obviously Fungal Growth is very, very effective against air units due to the fact that air units stack up near indefinitely. So that means they can clump up very, very easily and get hit and chain fungled. Only other thing is if VortiX was to go for an awful lot of Mutas, or TLO was to feel very, very vulnerable, he could always chuck down a couple of Spore Crawlers at each base, and really just one side, one in the mineral line. You're safe from Mutas then, and obviously with the Infest as well, you'd be absolutely ace. Now looking here, we've got the double Evo chamber coming down, we've got the Roach-1 and the Infestation Pit, so VortiX suddenly deciding he is going to get all of the tech. He's getting his first few Mutas out, he's sending a couple of these Zerglings over, but there's good defense here in terms of the Infestors and also the Roaches, so this is good play at the moment from TLO. He's going to be pretty safe. This third base is a little bit vulnerable, but does have the Banelings there. One Baneling detonates on one Zergling. That is absolutely brilliant for VortiX at the moment. In terms of the work count, we haven't really spoken about that yet. TLO is behind by 2, so really only fractionally. In terms of the loss tab, TLO lost about 250 more resources, so not a huge amount either. But here we go, the Mutas are coming out onto the field, and they are picking off lots and lots of Overlord, supply blocking TLO at the moment. And of course, this is one of the most effective ways to use Mutas in ZvZ. Is rather than trying to do damage to the mineral line or anything like that, just pick off Overlord and supply block your opponent for quite long periods of time, which can be very, very irritating. And the thing I really like is VortiX not overcommitting to those Mutalisks yet. He's got a lot of gas banked up still, but he's got pathogen glands on the way. He's getting the 1-1 upgrades coming out. The +2 missile attack on the way out for TLO, who obviously does have Infestors out already. The third base are up for both players, and well, they're pretty equal in terms of the worker count. Only 1 worker difference between them. Their tech is pretty similar. The important thing is obviously these Mutalisks do need to do a bit more, in my opinion. How many Mutas are on the field? There's a grand total of 8 Mutalisks, which basically means each Mutas 100 gas, 100 minerals, so 1600 resources out there, and they haven't done 1600 resources worth of damage yet to TLO, so he's got to be a bit careful. But of course, Spore Crawlers are down. He's got Spore Crawlers pretty much at every base apart from the third. The third is better covered by Queens and the Infestor, so he's pretty safe there. We've got a bit of aggression coming across the map now. There's still some more Overlords that could get picked off, but of course clumping is the big thing that VortiX needs to avoid with those Mutas, and is pulling back yet again because, well, there's more Overlords coming over. Those Overlords can get picked off by the Mutalisk, which is always fun times because, well, a couple more units going down. TLO, he is in a good spot. They're both at equal supply. This is an incredibly close match at the moment, but as you can see, VortiX is sending an awful lot of units over. He's got the map dominance due to gain through the Mutalisks, and really, he can start being quite aggressive now. And TLO, he has preemptively moved his units across. Upgrade-wise, it's 1-0 against 0 at the moment, but 1-1 about to kick in for VortiX. So if he times this push in the next kind of second or two, then he's going to be in a great spot because he will have a slight upgrade advantage over his opponent, but only for a couple of seconds. So he needs to really go for that push ASAP if he wants to time it with the upgrade advantage. But looking here, infestors are all around. Both players on good numbers of infestors. It is 9 compared to 8 in TLO's favour, so not a huge difference. The muters are going to be effective though in any shape or form because, well, as long as they're not fungled, they can do good damage to the roaches and basically can't be attacked. A great little ninja fungal there though from TLO. Those muters though do manage to get fungal growth, which is always irritating. Of course, chain fungling on those muters could see them all get taken down, and that'll be very, very cost effective for TLO at the moment. The fourth place being taken by VortiX behind them, so he's going to end up face up. In terms of the loss tab, that really leveled thing up. Only 1 resource difference in what these two have lost. That is absolutely crazy. And I mean, the one thing the TLO is doing incredibly well is these kind of poking and prodding fungals. It deals a lot of damage. VortiX getting up 12 Hydralisks behind this. That's a nice little additional force which will help him engage this army a lot better. But TLO, he's got the greatest supply, and he looks like he's going to go for it right now. And we see here VortiX trying to run away as quickly as he can, but some fungal growth go down for both players, and it does actually allow TLO to pick off an infestor and a handful of roaches without taking too much damage. He is still continuing the force forward, but VortiX, of course, has got a good defense position because he's got those Hydras coming out already. Groove Spines isn't done. That is, of course, the range upgrade for Hydralisks, and, well, this is going to be a pretty close engagement. Almost certainly it's 1-1 to 2-0, so you can call that pretty much equal in terms of the upgrade. Fungal growth going down for both players. Better attack angles for TLO, though. That's going to be strong, but of course the Hydras are out for VortiX. At the moment, TLO does have the better supply. He's resupplying with an awful lot of roaches, though. He has got a way better attack angle right now. He's got more infestors out, and TLO is absolutely crushing VortiX now in perfect timing engagements. And there's the GG, and it all came down to the army positioning there. The TLO just had such a better attack arc. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy that game, subscribe, like, leave a cool comment, and yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow for yet another new game. Bye for now.